Oi, punters, they are good. And I think they're copying me. I was scrolling Instagram and I saw this clip from the IPA, the Institute of Public Affairs, the think tank that puts out some of the best propaganda you can possibly find. And I saw this video, and at time of recording, this has 2.6 million views. Well done. Their numbers even I would be proud of, because a lot of the other reels, 8,000, 4,000, 130, like they do okay. They're beginning to master this medium and use every channel they can for propaganda. Let's take a look at this and why it pissed me off so much.
I mean, truly, what is wrong with you Australians?
All right, what is wrong with you Australians? American accent telling me something is wrong? I'm arced up. I'm angry. Come on, mate. Come at me. Let's bloody go. Bloody yank.
Have natural resources that are the envy of the rest of the world. You're
This is true.
the Saudi Arabia of the Southern Hemisphere.
Also true.
You export 7 times more coal than you consume, and yet you don't want to burn coal.
Probably true.
You have nearly 30% of the world's uranium, and you won't build nuclear reactors. You export 3 times more natural gas in the form of LNG than you consume, and you won't drill for gas. I mean,
Hang on, not true. We're fracking the frack out of everything, so he's wrong there, mate. Soz.
I just don't get it. I love Australia. I think it's an
Gotta slip that in there. Love Australia, mate. Shut up, mate.
amazing country, but your policy is just baffling.
Is he wrong? No. But he is full of This is corporate propaganda at its finest. I'm going to run through why this is complete corporate propaganda that does not have your best interest at heart. And then I'm going to tell you 3 things that this corporate sock puppet will never tell you. So let's go through why this is BS propaganda. Well, starting with the channel that this is on. It doesn't have any markings on it, but I know where it's from. You can tell by the oversaturated color grade and the old bloke just ranting. You know this is the domain of Sky News. This is exactly Sky News. Fact checks welcome, citations necessary, but I put good money that this is Sky News. So let's take a quick look at Sky News, shall we? We know it's controlled by this old tax bludger here called Rupert Murdoch, and this tax bludger here, Lachlan Murdoch. The Murdoch family control this. They dodge taxes. I've covered other videos on it. Check it out. And Punters Politics videos there. Absolute tax bludgers. But the Murdoch family took full control of Sky News in 2016 through local News Corp. I believe they still own it. And let's take a look at Sky News here. I go to this website, mediabiasfactcheck.org. It's pretty helpful. This is an interesting thing. You can put it on left, right. It's always reductive. And being right-wing, it doesn't really bother me that much. It means you're going to cover issues like immigration. That's a right-wing issue. You can cover it. But you can also be right-wing and factual. The problem with Sky News is that they're mixed. Right? They're not that factual. And if you come into a news source and you're not going to be that reliable with facts, then I think don't waste your time on it, because you don't know what you're watching if they don't have a good track record of being accurate. And I think trust is one of the most important things in the age of AI, with just slop pounding the internet every single day. I may be contributing, but you have to know who to trust. And if you can't bloody guarantee that at least half the stuff's accurate, you don't know what is. So I just distrust all of it, because I can't, I don't have the time to Google every single headline. Why is Murdoch owning this media outlet a problem? Well, he has vested interests in the oil and gas industry, meaning he can use his news channel to launder stories to the Australian public that benefit his share portfolio and the investments he holds. Why do you think that Sky News hates renewable energy? Well, Rupert Murdoch has massive stakes in not renewable energy. And so he wants the world to be buying his product and using his infrastructure as opposed to a competitor. And here we go. Rupert Murdoch wouldn't use his propaganda channel to boost his investments, would he? Well, Murdoch pursued Genie Energy Corporation. He's on the board. And Media Matters reported Murdoch-owned Fox Business Network promoted Genie Energy oil shale project. So they promoted a Genie Energy project located in Israel while failing to disclose Murdoch financial stake in companies. So yeah, using his current propaganda network to boost his own share portfolio. That is not what you want when you're looking for who to trust about the news. So that's Sky News, BS channel. Don't waste your time with it. Oi, punters, are you sub to the channel? you're not. It's really hard to compete with this corporate propaganda with lots of money behind them. So if you could just sub to the channel and give it a bell and a like, that really helps the video and you know how it works. Anyway, back to it. Let's go to the IPA, the Institute of Public Affairs, which is a think tank, and you'll see a trend here. Old white blokes being like, yeah, we love coal. Hot tip, if you want to be a YouTuber and you're trying to crack into the market, if you're a young, relatively attractive woman, if you're happy to go become a corporate sock puppet for these billionaire interests, you can do quite well for yourself. I'm seeing a lot of young women pop up on Sky News and the IPA. Lanes wide open. So what's the problem with Institute of Public Affairs? Well, let's just go look at ownership. Is the Institute of Public Affairs going to be researching and looking into things that benefit me, the everyday Aussie punter, to help government make decisions about stuff that benefit me? Well, let's have a look. Here are some of the people that really like this. Oh, would you look at that? Rupert Murdoch also likes this. Tony Abbott, obviously, is featuring heavily on it. It is significantly funded by Hancock Prospecting, of which Gina Rinehart is executive chair. So Gina Rinehart is heavily invested in this think tank. Now, why do think tanks exist? Think tanks exist to do research to legitimize the stories that they're going to tell. You can do research and cook the books in such a way that help you have some evidence to stand on. So when Sky News goes to say something, they pull on, hey, this research we saw. They don't talk about the methodology. They don't have other academics critique their research and say, is this accurate? Is this the best way to do research? No, we just do research to tell the story we want to tell. And when you look at who's behind this machine, so we've got Hancock Prospecting, obviously it has massive interests in, what do you know, mining. And then let's look at some of the other previous funders. ExxonMobil, they'll come up again. Telstra, Philip Morris, cigarette companies, British Tobacco, Caltex, Shell, Esso. We all know what tobacco companies did to slow down us discovering that, hey, these things give us cancer, and maybe we should tell people about that. They fund studies through think tanks like this and go like, no, like most doctors are cool with it and it's totally fine, and it's not what they're saying. We did our own research and it shows it's actually fine. Then that brings us to this bloke here, this corporate Yankee sock puppet right here. Now, who the bloody hell is this bloke coming on my television with his bloody American accent and telling me what to do in my bloody backyard? Well, he's an American funded by, you guessed it, fossil fuel companies, ExxonMobil being one of them. It wouldn't be American colonialism if they didn't come to Australia and try and bloody tell us what to do. And we do it most of the time. We say, yes, sir, we'll do everything you say, American overlord. So let's look at who this bloke is. His name is Robert Bryce, and he's been very associated with the Manhattan Institute, which is, you can guess, another kind of US corporate think tank that, guess what, is significantly funded by ExxonMobil and other fossil fuel billionaires. Billionaires want to make more money. The only way you make more money, right? The only way you really become a billionaire from being a 100 millionaire is that you rig the rules in your favor. But because we have these pesky institutions called democracy, it makes it a little bit harder. So you need an infrastructure and an apparatus to brainwash the people to allow them to vote against their best interest and towards the billionaire's best interest. So now that gets me to, now you know the interests behind every piece of this corporate human centipede that they've built here. Now let me tell you three things that this bloke, that channel, and that Instagram account will never tell you when they talk about our mining interests. Starting with number one. They're never going to tell you that ExxonMobil are an absolute disgusting tax bludger, dole bludgers, eat your heart out. Exxon is one of them. Michael West journalism, thanks for the great journalism. Couldn't do what I do without actual good journalism that follows the money. That's Michael West right here. Non-paid ad for Michael West. He follows this over the years. It's from a couple of years ago, but it followed 3 years, and you got 24 billion in income, 0 in taxes paid. So what's the benefit to we, the Australian government and the Australian citizen? Sweet FA, punters, sweet FA. This bludger is never going to tell you that, one, he's paid by Exxon or works for an institution that gets its money from fossil fuel. He's never going to tell you that. He's never going to mention that they not only oh, we're not paying tax because we offset our losses and we're actually making big investments, and that's why we legally did all the right things to reduce our taxes, and gosh darn it, we just couldn't turn a profit. No. It's come out in this report here, Tax Justice Network Australia makes Exxon pay. I guess it's really targeted at Exxon. 54 billion US, like 100 billion Australian dollars, was stashed offshore that the ATO has not approved Exxon's tax filings for nearly a decade. What the actual F? So they're using, dodgy tax bloody tricks to skip out and not pay what they owe. The absolute nerve. That's one thing this corporate sock puppet isn't going to tell you. What's the next thing? Well, he's never going to tell you when he talks about gas, the thing I bang on about every single time. Here it is again. We give 56% of our gas to these corporations for free. So, Robert, Bruce, Bryce, whatever your bloody name is, mate. Yeah, I don't want more gas being drilled because guess what? We're not getting any money for it. So you can piss off. He's never going to tell you that. He is not going to tell you that because his corporate pimps make money when he can make us love all the fossil fuel things and all the mining we have. And he's not going to mention that he gets rich, his buddies get rich, but you Aussie punters don't. He's not going to mention the fossil fuel subsidies. Oh, maybe I've got four things. Sorry, four things. He's not going to mention the fossil fuel subsidies, 15 billion in 2024 given to these absolute bludger leeches, right? I know there's controversy around, oh, that's a tax fuel rebate because they don't use the roads, blah, blah, blah. I don't care. Give us money so we can use your money for the roads. I don't care if you use the roads or not. You use our ports, our railways. We invest. Not all of that is the fuel excise rebate that some people in the comments will probably rail against. We're investing in infrastructure for these bludgers to use. That's part of the $15 billion. And then the question becomes, oh yeah, but we get like a good return on it, don't we? No, we bloody don't. They don't even pay tax. And yes, some mining companies do pay taxes, like Gina Reinhart's company. I'll give her some credit. Good on Hancock Prospecting. It pays some taxes, but a lot of them bloody don't. And they're never going to mention that. And the final one they're never going to mention is that a lot of these corporations, once they come in, frack what they want, mine what they want, offshore drill what they want, they leave a massive mess for someone to clean up. And I know what some LinkedIn bros will say. No, there's like a fund, and then that fund is used and they have to pay the environmental bond so that we can use it to recover. Yeah, okay. We've got some really weak crap legislation that isn't functioning because guess what? This is from 2020. Woodside sold an oil rig, the TLDR on this one. They sold an oil rig to some company, some corporation that went broke, and then that corporation that went broke couldn't pay to clean up the oil rig. So guess what, punters? Guess who paid to clean up Woodside's old oil rig? That's right, we did. 200 million, in fact. And you know the real kicker of this? Oh, crap. I didn't even see this. It's like taxpayers are potentially on the hook for a 4.6 billion cleanup fee for Exxon offshore platforms and installments in Bass Strait. So 200 million for Woodside, that's nothing. Exxon, the absolute leech bludgers, are leaving you and I with $4.6 billion cleanup fee. What the actual F? This bludger will not mention that his corporate pimp daddies have done that to us. No, he's just going on there. So I guess good on Sky News and good on the IPA for getting 2.6 million views on this thing. He's saying things that are technically true. And if you watch the whole thing, his whole message is fossil fuels are the best. Australia should use them. They're the best. Why are we not using them? He's just trying to build permission structures so that Aussies love mining and fossil fuels without ever telling you that our mining system at the moment is geared towards letting foreign-owned corporate billionaires steal our wealth and leave us with the bill. That's ultimately what it is. And that's why this is some of the finest corporate propaganda that you will see. So punters, if you have a family member that probably watches Sky News and they've probably seen this, if you have a family member that might have seen this and shared it, I made a video on Instagram and I've set the ambitious task, which is not out of the realms of possibility, trying to get my debunk reel up to 4 million. I want to double their views. Mine's longer, so it's going to be harder. Theirs is shorter. Well done. Shorter stuff gets more views. Mine's a bit longer. It's at 300K in one day. That's pretty good so far. I have hit the millions before, but it's going to take a concerted effort from we punters to make sure that all these punters know when they see this face, when they watch Sky News, and then when they see anything put out by the IPA, that they know these are absolute bludgers designed to steal your money and make their corporate billionaire, corporate daddies billions. Massive thanks to we the punters over on Patreon. These are the punters that keep me making the videos that I think are important, like this one, and not just the ones that gets the clicks. If you want to support the channel, head over punterspolitics.com, pick yourself up some merch, share this with the punter who might not know just how scammed we're getting, and I'll catch you in the next episode. Cheers, punts.